at this very moment, do you think the Cowboys are the favorites to sign Odell, and will they sign Odell? And if not, then who will?
At this moment, I can't see him going anywhere else. It's like it's written in the stars. The biggest team in the league signing the biggest player, not the best player, but the biggest, most followed player. It's like written in the stars, a match made in heaven that these two would come together. And I think Odell sees this team similar to the way he saw the Rams last year, that this team just needs a little bit more, need a little push, and he knows he can do that because we saw what Odell did for the Rams last year when they won the Super Bowl. He it was a little bit of a slow start, but when the playoffs hit, he was running, he was firing. I mean, I think he ran for like what? He ran for a buck against the Bucks.
Well,
You know, it's
here. With the Rams, Odell, he had 48 catches, 593 yards, 7 touchdowns, including 2 catches for 52 yards and 1 touchdown in the Super Bowl.
and I think he sees this, like I said, the same way he sees these Cowboys, that they're just one guy away, and just how the locker room would be ecstatic that you get Odell. They're already sent a campaign to get this damn guy, and Jerry Jones said they have a meeting with them. It's going to come down to a number, and it's going to be, is Odell willing to accept the offer Jerry offers him? And it's tough to say what it will, because Jerry is usually, he's a little stingy with players that he hasn't drafted. He doesn't really like, going into the free agency. But for Odell, I think you have to, because if you get Odell, you have CD, and you have Michael Gallup back, my God, and you have the 1-2 punch and Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, and you have Dak playing. He doesn't even have to play like he did versus the Vikings. He playing semi decent. It's like, my God, what this offense is revolutionary, because
100%.
you have Odell out there. He pulls a little bit off of CD, so CD's now doesn't have 100% of the attention, and now they're starting to split it. And Odell's an elite route runner. And I think with how technology is, Odell's going to be fine after this surgery. How technology and everything's developed. Back in the day, maybe you would say that this would be a real like would be a detriment to his career. Tearing what he tear an ACL?
Yeah.
I believe he teared an ACL. Yeah. With just how those construction surgeries have advanced, I think he'll be fine. He'll go back to be similar to what he was at the Rams. And if he was, this Cowboys, I mean, I've this entire year I have not budged on my Super Bowl picks of Bills Bucks, but if Odell goes to the Cowboys, I would strongly consider, I think they beat the Bucks. Obviously you don't rate the Bucks highly, but in a sense, if we're talking about you, I think that whoever you picked to go to the Super Bowl,
God.
the Cowboys beat them. You picked the
My
Rams.
pick ain't even
Yeah, okay,
making the playoffs.
okay, yeah, they're not making it. So yeah, I think 100% the Cowboys would be would vault themselves to, in my standards, like just a great team to Super Bowl to be in the Super Bowl. That be a lock-in to an extent, because that would just solve almost their biggest problem. I thought they had a problem replacing Amari Cooper, and you get Odell, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, more than good enough, especially how leaps and bounds this defense has taken. And it's just, if they get it, it's scary hours for the league. It's, I mean, the Cowboys haven't been to the Super Bowl in 20, 30, 40 years. How long has it been? And
The
we weren't
80s,
even
right? I
alive.
think it's the 80s, yeah.
Dude,
My dad was in his 20s.
my dad was a teenager, man. I don't even think he was in this country at this point. Like, this is how long ago this was. And they're just, they're one number away, And I think they're looking at the range of, like a Michael Gallup contract, 20 million, 22 million. And, it depends how long-term of a deal you want to give Odell. But realistically, Cowboys, this is your best shot. You might as well plunge. Like, what else are you waiting for, man? Like,
That's what I was
who
going to say.
knows? who knows how long you're gonna have this defense for? Like Micah could get hurt any week. Realistically, he could bump his knee and be gone for the rest of the year. Or next season, he could be gone for that season. You have to do it now because there's no point in waiting now. You got to do it now, and especially Odell's a free agent. You're not giving up any picks. You
No, you're
just
not.
got you got to splurge, man. You
You
got to
just gotta
do
pay
it.
the money.
And this is going to be real telling to how Jerry Jones like says. He says, I remember the big quote. You guys do not know how big of a check I would write to win a Super Bowl. Jerry, let's see. We're gonna see how much you're willing to spend to win the Super Bowl because this is your shot. This is it.
I tend to agree with you. I think that Odell is going to be Cowboys bound. I think it's the stars are aligning. Similar to what you said. It makes the most sense at this moment. The Cowboys they might be that one piece away from being true contenders, and Odell might just be that piece. We know how good their defense is, and if there's any point at their offense that we're saying okay they could use a piece there, it's the wide receiver core. And ultimately, you add Odell, it's going to be telling to see, or it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from his surgery. But I think he's going to come back and be the same old Odell, like you said. And I think Odell on the Cowboys would take this team up a notch. And I already consider this team a very, very good team, but I think he takes them up another level. And I think if Jerry spends the money and he writes the check and he gets Odell like he should, they will make the Super Bowl. I think it'll be between them and the 49ers because I rate the 49ers so highly.
I think
It's
without Odell, I don't think they beat the 49ers. But with Odell, they beat the 49ers.
yeah, I
I think
think
it literally
right
comes down
now,
to that.
right now for me, my favorites in the NFC is the Cowboys and the Niners, and that's even if they don't get Odell. That's my two favorites. Now the Cowboys add Odell, I have to give the Cowboys the edge. The only reason that you could not give the Cowboys the edge is because you think that they're going to choke again because that's kind of in their history since the 80s.
It's
But I
kind
don't
of
think that's going to happen. And ultimately, Jerry even said it after the game. He said that this is a Super Bowl team. And he said, and he, like you said, he was willing to spend, or he said he's willing to spend whatever it takes. There's nothing stopping you. You have to make this signing. If you are serious about making the Super Bowl and potentially winning it, Jerry Jones, you have to sign Odell Beckham Jr. I don't care the cost. I don't care what he wants. You have to make this. You have to make this signing. There's no excuse for it. If, ands, or buts, there's no excuse. There's no
I
reason.
mean, the players are tweeting out this damn guy. I mean, you have Micah tweeting him out. You have everybody, basically begging this guy, said, please make the right decision. Just imagine what this would do for the locker room. The fact that they've
Oh,
already been campaigning and you reward them with, we got you guys Odell Beckham Jr. Just the aura of Odell is gonna be like, we have this guy. We have Odell. We have the biggest star in the game, and we are the biggest team in the country. It's just is going to be leaps and bounds better for the offense, and it's going to help out even though for the defense because you're not going to have as many 3-and-outs as you would if you didn't have Odell.
if Jerry does not make this move and gets Odell Beckham Jr., I'm gonna come on here and rip into him. I'm just letting you know now. This is
No,
this is a this is a telling moment for Jerry
absolute
Jones.
disgrace if he doesn't.
This is a very telling moment because he always says how bad he wants to win a Super Bowl, and the NFC is wide open to a certain extent. The Eagles, they're a solid team. For me, like I said, it's between them and it's between the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys. But I consider the Cowboys and the 49ers both a little bit better, especially if they get Odell. The Cowboys are probably the best of the bunch for me. But it's open.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys, this is their best chance that they've had in years. Years. They have not had this type of opportunity to realistically get this far in the playoffs, potentially make a Super Bowl. It hasn't happened. They haven't had a clear-cut opportunity like this almost ever, since the 80s. This is it. This is it. Jerry Jones, like I said, you have to make this move. If you do not make this move, it is a disgrace. You've let Cowboys Nation down if you don't make this move. You've basically slapped your team in the face. You've said that basically that you're not a man of your word because all you talk about is how bad you want to win the Super Bowl. This is the guy you need to win the Super Bowl, potentially to just make the Super Bowl. And if you don't pull the trigger on this move, it's a disgrace.
Absolutely. I agree.
I
Because
like
it
part
would be so contradictory to what he's been saying, you know? It's just like all he talks about. I mean, literally, you can't get Jerry Jones in an interview or post game without him talking about how badly he wants to go to the fucking Super Bowl. You know,
well, this is it. Exactly. This is
this
it.
is it.
This is your
This is
opportunity.
it.
He might not get this opportunity again. So look,
I mean, who?
it,
What other wide
as we
receivers are going to
saw,
be? You know,
with the Los Angeles Rams, Super Bowl windows are so small. You're like unless you've got Patrick Mahomes, your Super Bowl window of realistic chances to win a Super Bowl, it's very small. If you have a chance and you see that you're maybe one piece away, two pieces away, you have to pull the trigger and make that move because you do not know what's going to happen next season. Micah Parsons could get injured. Dak Prescott could tear his ACL. I'm not wishing it on him, knock on wood, but things happen in the NFL. And realistically, this is looking like the stars have aligned. The NFC is not looking quite as strong. You know, the Cowboys might be the best team in the NFC, especially if they get Odell. And if you don't pull this trigger on a chance, a golden opportunity, it's basically like the leprechaun has just found the end of the rainbow and he's got the pot of gold. It's basically what this is. And basically, if you do not pull this trigger, it's just slap in the face to the players, Cowboys Nation, and it's so contradictory. It'd be an absolute disgrace. But
yeah,
I think I think Jerry Jones is going to pull the trigger on this. I would be shocked if he doesn't, and that's why if he doesn't, I'm going to be on here ripping his ass.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely,
going to
yeah,
be on here
absolutely.
ripping into Jerry Jones. But I
Look at
think he's
Jerry
going to pull the
Jones.
trigger on this. I think as long as Odell wants to come, which it seems like he does, and I think it's not a done deal, but I think it's inevitable at this point.
It looks like the highest possibility because what's the other option? The Giants? God, don't go to the fucking
Like the
Giants,
Bills.
man. No, I mean, after that snow, hell no. God, no. No way. No, 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 no way. After that snow and how they've been
And why,
playing,
why why would he want to go to a loaded AFC when he could go to the Cowboys in the NFC? It wouldn't make any sense for me.
yeah, it's which team looks like the most like the same situation the Rams were in? It's
The
it's the
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yeah.